Welcome to Back-Issues. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ben.
Today we're going to talk about Invasion with an exclamation point. That way you know it's serious. This is not fooling around. This is 1989's DC Mega Comics event series that I never read when I was a kid.
I've never even heard of it.
I've never even heard of this until DC was like, hey, did you know that the CW Interconnected TV Universe is going to be adapting Invasion from 89? Aliens are going to invade Arrow and Legends of Tomorrow and stuff. And I'm like, what? This is written by Keith Giffen, Bill Manslow. It's got Todd McFarlane art and Bart Sears art.
Wow.
If you've ever wanted to see Todd McFarlane draw Superman, you get like maybe a panel or two, and they're kind of cool looking, I guess. But nuts, okay? It's about... the whole story is there's this race of it's like freaking Invader Zim. Where it's like, we're a race of beings that all we do is invade. That's what we do. That's how
take over?
Our entire economy and society is based on invading other planets
Like the
and
Independence
taking
Day
them over.
aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only
like locusts.
only
They killed us, and I don't think these guys do.
These guys are incredibly ineffectual. These are the Dominators from the race known as the Dominion, which, if you like Star Trek, you've probably already heard already.
Yes.
But good, like, 6 or 7 years before.
So they
even
ripped it
existed.
off.
Completely lifted. Thank you, Roddenberry. Good call. But, yeah, the Dominators are...
Roddenberry, just gotta say.
D. Swan was not his.
That he was already dead.
He was already dead by then?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I felt his absence. So, yeah, these guys, the Dominators, are a race of invading aliens who are yellow-skinned with slanty eyes, long fingernails, jagged teeth, with the red sun of Japan on their foreheads. So, totally not offensive in any way.
That is
And
so fucked.
what is happening?
What?
Hilariously enough, they were invented in, like, 67, so it's like, if you wanted to jump on the boat of being racist against Japanese people for being invaders, you're like, 20 years late!
Well, now, I was not alive then, but I
was not
heard
either.
from my parents that racism against Japanese people, like, endured
Persisted.
for a really long time.
Well, I think if Bugs Bunny is an indicator.
you don't have to write a book about them. Just pretend they don't exist.
No, we're so far removed from that they get to become their own thing. Because nobody is thinking
Now
in
they're
those
just an
terms.
alien. It's not
Nobody's
racist.
gonna make that connection.
And they
Damn
wear
it.
long robes!
And they have huge teeth.
Yeah.
This is not okay. You
Yeah,
can't
but they've
do
got,
this.
like, they've got
Uh-oh.
Baraka teeth.
Yeah, well, that's what you do when you do a caricature of someone. You accentuate the parts that you feel deserve
They're
accentuation.
not, okay, so they're not like big, like thick.
No,
teeth,
they're jagged
but
and dagger-like.
yeah,
But they're still very
they're
prominent.
still prominent.
Yep.
Teeth.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah.
But let's forget that, or at least try really hard to ignore it.
Okay.
Because
like the
that's
creators
gonna
of
be
this
hard.
book did.
And by the way, I'm certain that in the CW adaptation, the Dominators won't look like that.
Yeah.
I really hope so.
Maybe to cover up the red sun, they can put a big turban over their heads.
You know, I wanted to make that joke. so I
And
was
grow
like,
a big
nah.
beard to cover their teeth. So, the Dominators are a race of invading aliens that are, like, stupid and lame. And they are interested in the Earth for their army. Because they've noticed that there's, like, this metahuman population on Earth.
Okay.
You know, like, of superheroes.
Yeah.
And they're like, how many superheroes are there?
How
'Cause, like,
many would you say you have?
yeah, like,
Do you have a list? Could
maybe
we
that we
classify
could
them?
use the and so actually what they wind up doing is they abduct about 50 from across the world, a huge sampling of people from like the Middle East, from like Australia, the United States, China, that kind of thing.
And if I know superhumans, right?
No, what they do is they put them through like a trial because by the way the Dominators have teamed up already with the Khund, Khund, so leave it to your pronunciation, but I call them the Khund.
And they are previously established.
Yes, everything in this is what's so great. It's really continuity heavy.
Okay.
But all the aliens that you see existed in DC continuity before.
Okay.
And the Khunds are a warlike race, and they don't really care like who gets in the way. They just love battle and killing. So
like Klingons.
yes, and
Okay.
but the Klingons had existed a long time. So the Khunds invent this like trial war room, and they push the 50 people into it, and then just start shooting at them.
Oh wow.
And 6 out of the 50 develop superhuman powers.
Wait, just on the spot?
Because under duress. You know, kind of like in
Like
Marvel,
X-Men?
where, yeah, your mutant ability is manifested when you hit puberty or you go through a severe emotional stress experience.
Yeah.
In the DC universe, in the post-crisis, pre-Flashpoint world, there are a subset of humanity that has the metahuman gene that allows
Really?
for the ability for superpowers.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's
Did
very
they just,
bizarre.
They just ripped that off from X-Men?
Well, I mean,
Or did it?
Yes.
but they're saying, you know,
that's
like,
a good idea.
Yeah.
That's how our universe works.
well, but they're saying, like, this is how superpowers exist. In general.
Except that they establish origins for all the major characters that are not that.
Yeah.
Like Superman's an alien. He doesn't
Right.
have a
Well, he's
gene.
different. And that's why he doesn't really feature heavily in the story.
So
also-
are they? Is it like the Flash has this gene that was like activated by the accident?
Yeah,
Is that-
maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, because some
Maybe
people don't
or
really...
yes.
Well, because nobody says in the Flash origin, like, oh, well, don't worry, Barry Allen, Wally West, and Jay Garrick, and everybody had, like, this gene, like, in their DNA that allowed them... No.
Oh, and all the Themyscirians are metahuman.
Oh, yeah, naturally.
Yeah, they,
No,
they all
those
went
are
through that.
gene.
Yeah.
That duress.
But, like, no. See, the Dominators have a plan, and then they create an alliance of invading aliens out of the need to destroy the metahumans, because the plan is, superficially, we're going to go to Earth, and we're going to annihilate the metahumans, so they can't mess with us, right? And that's fine. Like, and that's what most of the people who can get on board with, like the Coons, and even the Thanagarians, the Hawk people. They're like, yeah, sounds good, let's do this. Yeah.
Wait.
So they think that Earth is like they're just waiting to like come and kill all of us.
Yes.
Okay.
And they've met enough humans to be like, this is probably true.
Thanagarians being like Hawkman?
Yeah, not Hawkman, but his people, yes.
Oh.
The Hawkman.
Shit.
The Hawkmen and women, yes. And the Daxamites actually wind up getting pulled into it. The Daxamites are interesting because Mon-El, who is a, like, Superman character, is a Daxamite. The Daxamites are basically, like, our equivalent, or the Kryptonian equivalent of Martians. Like, there was a neighboring planet that was in the same solar system as Krypton, and the Daxamites lived there, and they looked like Kryptonian, they looked like people.
Okay.
And the red sun kept them being human, but when they come here and they get exposed to the yellow sun of the Earth, they get Superman powers.
Okay.
And later, this story will kind of retcon the idea that the reason why all the aliens kind of look the same is because everything is kind of derived from like this human genome. All life is kind of pulled from this one place.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've seen that a lot in the stories
Yeah.
that you've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Star Trek does that too.
Yeah, well, because otherwise, like, oh, you look just like us, and we can like make versions of ourselves
Yeah.
that are hybrids just because you have little ridges.
Oh, you
and
mean I
longer
can
ears.
hire actors to portray you?
And I don't have to spend a lot of money on like a ridiculous
Yeah.
prosthetic that alters you significantly from what a human looks like.
Yeah.
And when they do wind up showing you an alien that looks ridiculously different from humans, they look silly and dumb, and they're only there for a few seconds, and they put on like an image inhibitor.
You mean like a black goop monster?
That sucks. And he's only by himself. That's just that one guy.
I want to point out,
mean,
before
like
we get
Squidman.
past this, it's really lucky that the 6 metahumans that made through, their superpower is
Was
being
like-
resistant to laser blasts.
Yes. Well, like maybe one of them can. Well, and why? By the way, it just so happens those 6 people become like a team, and who cares? But like they're there to establish this one thing. But yes, it's
Yeah.
weird that they.
How many other potential metahumans were also killed, but were not able to resist that
Yeah.
particular
Well,
attack?
one of them was. They say that actually 7 survived, and one of them was a woman, but she was mortally wounded. Like she did survive technically, so she might be metahuman, but she did die.
Okay, that's not surviving then.
No, but she survived longer than everybody else. Like
did
to
they-
blaster fire to the face.
Did they survive by like just being invulnerable?
Yeah,
or
they
by,
just didn't
like,
die.
running away or dodging really fast.
This
or...
is the page that describes it, and literally they just get blasted, and some of them didn't die.
wow.
I want to say that they
horrifying,
missed.
By the way,
One person
Oh, yeah.
just ducked behind someone else. And they're
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
"You
I'm a
survived!"
super character. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
a metahuman, obviously.
Of course, I'm
Yeah.
alive.
I have above average
Yeah.
intelligence, apparently.
It's
I have super
above average
cowardice.
luck.
Yeah,
I'm lucky.
yeah. That's my. I have luck-based powers. It's cool. So the Dominators use this information and will actually wind up like mapping the human genome and being like, boom,
Here's
metahuman
the
gene.
thing, yeah.
Yep. So then they wind up creating the Alien Alliance, which is hilarious because like they're all aliens, but they're aliens to us. So like we would call it the Alien Alliance. To them, they should call it something else. But in any case, they call it the Alien Alliance. And they like, hey, we gotta fuck over these people and get their metahumans, and we're not gonna break the Earth though. We're not going to destroy it.
Right.
And that's part of the thing. Like,
They just want to take it over.
They want to take it over and they want to destroy the metahumans. That's the plan. And in fact, they
just want to cleanse it of metahumans.
Yeah, you might say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Render it harmless.
Precisely.
Yeah.
As it turns out, there's a secret plan that the Dominators have. That they're keeping secret from everybody else. They want to use the genetics of the metahumans and engineer a perfect, like, super army.
So they can take over everybody.
And fuck over their allies and everything, yeah.
Yeah, but will they make themselves into this army?
Well, that's a great question. They never get that far.
Oh.
But it does sound eerily similar to Secret Invasion, in the Marvel Secret Invasion, which of course took place like 20 years later, they map all the metahumans from Earth via their like avatars of like Black Bolt and Mr. Fantastic and everybody, and then engineer a way through which Skrulls could adapt their genetics and then approximate their powers.
Right.
So it's like that they actually wind up doing it though.
Yeah, they're like, here's what the
Dominators attempted to do.
We're trying to do.
Yeah.
We're filling in the gaps.
Yes. Although the Dominators make no attempt to shapeshift and alter their appearance, they're very they're very proud of how they look.
Did this come out before or after Secret Invasion?
Way before.
Like 20 years before Secret Invasion. So it's like, whoa, Bendis. Although I've never heard of this story, so I feel like
be a huge coincidence.
Maybe Bendis just had that idea.
But it's called Invasion Secret No More.
Well, they just called it that. It was originally just called
Invasion.
Yeah.
Okay. So it says Secret No More, like after Secret Invasion came out, they added that?
They added this in the reprinting, which if you base it on the DC logo, which only lasted like 5 years, it happened after Secret Invasion. But,
weird.
Yeah, really weird. So the Dominators and the Thanagarians and...
So far we haven't seen any characters that we would recognize.
And the cat people?
No.
Okay. This is all just prelude.
Yeah. And by the way, the Dominators are actually an enemy of the Legion of Superheroes. So really, you don't normally see them unless you're a big Legion of Superheroes fan.
Okay.
The Legion of Superheroes, of course, being a race of superheroes from the future who like kind of approximate what superheroes were like when in the days of all the superheroes.
Okay.
And in fact, in like pre-Crisis continuity, they wind up like going back in time and grabbing like a young Superboy, like Kal-El, when he was like a 12-year-old, and making him join the team because they were all kind of the same age. The Dominators are like, we're invading and we're going to take over the Earth, and so they just take this huge armada that is made up of a smattering of war-mongering alien races, and then just attack the Earth.
And they just start firing lasers at cities
They go to Australia, and they take it over.
They take over Australia.
Yeah. They make Melbourne
our one weakness.
Our Achilles heel, if you will. It's all the way down there.
Well, it's an island. I mean, it's surrounded by water, and it's actually a great defensible area.
That's true.
As anyone who plays Risk would know, the Australia strategy is time-honored.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. If you because it's easy to defend. There's only one direction you can attack from to get into Australia. In Risk. Not in real life.
And
when
invasion.
You cross the ocean.
Right.
And especially in a world where Aquaman exists.
Yes, but they do wind up invading in Atlantis as well. So Aquaman has his own fish to fry, if you will.
So they invade Atlantis and Australia. They're starting with the A's.
Yeah. Well,
Austria, you're next.
Atlantis is part of the invasion. It's not that they hit Atlantis first; they just hit Australia first. And the Coons build like a capital city there, and
we're going through the world alphabetically. We'll get Australia,
and then Atlantis,
and then
Arkansas.
What about Asia?
Oh, all of Asia.
Yeah, and Africa.
No, something about it I really dig. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna make a deal with them. See what that's all about.
Okay, Asia's massive.
Are they going to make a deal with the Germans as well?
And the Italians, perhaps?
And the Italians form some sort of axis.
What's amazing is they call themselves the Alliance. So
interesting.
If we had to go through and say what the Coons or
the Coons are just they're a race of pink aliens that are douchebags. They're the Klingons.
Okay. I was going to try and equate them to other Germans or
Italians.
Mussolini. And,
I don't know.
Oh my god!
Because the Coons don't love food or something. There's no hilarious joke.
Okay.
But in preparation for this, they also wind up building the Starlag.
Starlag?
Yeah, the Starlag is basically just a giant prison, orbiting
like a gulag, but
like
among the stars.
Yes.
Right.
An orbiting prison
is
for the
really
metahumans.
Cold there?
I don't know.
Okay. Well,
I mean,
should be.
it's cold.
It's space.
It's in the vacuum of space, made of metal. I would assume. But no one makes a reference like, "Oh, it's chilly here."
All right, so they take over Australia.
They take over Australia. They attack the Earth, and they make their proclamations known. Like, "Hey, we would like your metahuman population."
Sure.
By the way, like, they already slaughtered all these people in Australia. Like, the Coons killed people for fun. Like, they didn't just go like, "Okay, we attacked your military, and then we take over and we put your people into prisons."
Right.
No, then the Coons were like, fuck Australians. And they just killed a bunch of people. So,
but then all of the poisonous animals in Australia attacked the
and then the
Coons,
drop bears
annihilated
converged on them. And everybody got chlamydia for some reason.
So
I
what
don't
is
know.
Superman doing while they're invading Australia?
He is... Well, here's the thing. They were told by the Dominators, like, don't get involved because there could be a diplomatic solution involved. Like,
What?
the Dominators want the metahumans, and they're
Right.
like, we don't get involved in our assault, and especially not the metahumans, and we could still work something out. And as a show of force,
And
we
Superman
fucked over
is
Australia.
like, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'll
because
wait and see.
Yeah. For some reason,
That's shit.
Superman really listened to Reagan in these days. So
Whatever you say, Mr. President.
So the
I'm your
governments
All-American.
that all the metahumans like
are under
are telling them, okay, they want you to not get involved,
Yep.
and they might not kill all of us.
Yes.
And all the metahumans are just like, okay.
Yes.
Well, we've defended Earth from countless things before, but let's hear these guys out.
Well, these guys actually open up a dialogue for the first
Right,
time, so
right.
why not? And what's interesting is the Daxamites are, when they get here, it's like a race of Supermen. So
Right.
with the but the
okay.
Daxamites have chosen to remain neutral for the time being. But what's weird is that they're like they
Why?
came with the Dominators.
Yeah, so that's not neutral.
No, and they are dicks, and they do attack Superman. Superman's big thing, by the way, is to deal with the Daxamites. Incidentally, the tragedy of Mon-El is that Mon-El was like a lone Daxamite who, when he came to Earth, he found out that the atmosphere was poisonous to him, and so Superman had to like put him in the Phantom Zone to save him.
Okay.
But that doesn't happen with the other Daxamites?
Well, that's the thing, is that like it does, but later, like as the Daxamites spend more time on Earth,
okay.
They don't
doing
know.
battle with Superman, they wind up like becoming poisoned, and Superman rescues them, despite the fact that they were trying to like destroy him.
Yeah.
Of course, he takes them into space where like they're fine.
Oh, so he does the Superman thing.
Exactly, and they're like, "Whoa, you saved us, even though we were attacking you." He's like, "Yeah, that's what I do. This is all. That's
Kind of my thing.
That's the moral of the story." And they're like, "Oh." So they fuck over the
Will you
the
also save the
Dominators.
Dominators? No, I'm gonna slaughter the Dominators.
Oh yeah, and literally like the Daxamites just go, "Oh fuck the Dominators," then and then they lose, and that's the end of the book. Like the Daxamites team up with Superman and fight the Dom, and once the Dominators lose the Daxamites, that's it.
Wait,
Yeah.
how do they...
That's the end of the book?
Oh, I
You
guess
just
they
told
fight-
us the end of the book?
Yeah.
So what's the point of continuing with this farce?
Well, because the
because there's
journey
not more.
is part of the journey.
All
I
right.
assume they fight them in space because they can't fight them on Earth because they'll still be poisoned.
Well, no, the Daxamites don't even know they will be poisoned, so they do attack Superman on Earth.
No, I meant when they...
When the Daxamites
Oh yeah, no,
return.
well, because by the way, the Dominators, when they're invading Earth, they don't like set foot on solid ground. They're doing it from their cushy spaceships. They're launching missiles. They're shooting lasers. They send the Coons to do a lot of the ground work.
Oh,
Okay.
They're grunts anyway. They love the hand-to-hand shit.
Okay. So then other people defeat the Coons, I assume.
Oh, naturally, yes.
Okay.
And in fact, by the
we'll
way,
see.
you would think what's interesting is this book touches on every single corner of DC. It touches with the Legion of Superheroes. The fucking Doom Patrol get involved. Fucking Amanda Waller gets word of this shit, and she's like, "I'm calling in Task Force X. I'm getting the Suicide Squad involved." And the superheroes and supervillains team up and defend against the invaders.
Oh, that's
By the way,
sweet.
when the invaders send their challenge to Earth, they're like, "Send us the metahumans and we will call the invasion. That's it."
Right.
The United Nations gets involved and they work together and they decide, fuck them.
Wow.
And so as such, it looks like, and I don't know if it was like Decree the Daily Planet would be the one newspaper to send the message, but like the Daily Planet is the one that sends the front page article, "Earth to invaders, drop dead." That is their response to the challenge,
Wow.
the diplomatic challenge issued by the Dominators.
Well, thank God the Dominators both read and speak English.
yeah, they do.
Well,
they've been dealing with the Legion of Superheroes.
It's also for humanity. Like,
Yeah, it's-
hey, here's what was decided. We're going to war. Fuck these guys.
That's right.
No
And
compromise.
I kind of want a blown up poster of the Earth 2 Invaders Drop Dead.
Yeah, that's super cool.
But yeah,
This story should be super cool.
it should be really cool, and it's kind of not.
Damn.
But it's like the ideas are cool.
Yeah.
Like the Spectre wants to get involved because he's like, I work for the Lords of Order, like which are
This
basically
is-
like the
this is
self-appointed
not
gods.
cool.
Yeah, and then the Lords of Order are like, don't get involved. And the Spectre's like, why? And he's like, because there are Lords of Order and Lords of Chaos, and right now the Lords of Chaos have chosen not to get involved at all. And if you act on behalf of us, the Lords of Chaos might tip the scales and work with the Dominators, and then we're fucked because it's chaos. And then
Not
Spectre's like,
Right.
not like controlled Christmas chaos.
no.
So basically, the Spectre can't really get involved in anything because that argument can be made at any time.
That's right. And so we got a chance for Todd McFarlane to draw the Spectre, and then he's in the story.
Until
So
the Lords of Order decide, like, hey, we want you to do this thing.
they don't, and then that's it.
Not here, but like,
Oh yeah,
apparently
no,
that's all he does.
Well, like somebody's like purse got stolen, go deal with that, or like somebody killed their dad, go fuck with that guy. You know, like remember Spectre has to deal with like vengeance and
But is it that upsetting with the Lords of Chaos?
the Lords of
who want
Chaos.
that stuff
Well,
to
it's
happen?
in opposition to them.
what
yes,
about the
but
innocent blood that was spilled on that ship when those 40...
50 people died? Yeah,
Yeah,
or 46
44.
people died. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck them. So you got this really cool image, by the way, of like the Justice League International hoisting the
Hoisted up the UN flag,
yeah.
which is amazing. This is an amazing, impassioned defense of the usefulness of the UN.
Oh yeah.
which seems quaint and hilarious now.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because literally, the UN has to get together and they collectively decide that we're not going to give up this world's metahumans.
If this was to happen now, if this book was to be written now,
Yeah, so
Passing all these charts and graphs. What the...
oh, that's to
hell?
bring up the speed about like what's happening because this invasion story,
it's covering a huge amount of time.
this invasion story is 3 issues of 80-page books.
What?
Yeah, each issue is 80 pages, and the invasion took place in every book DC published.
Oh.
So, like, Aquaman had an issue, Batman had an issue, like, Wonder Woman had an issue, everybody, Doom Patrol got an issue. Like, the
So that's
invasion
what we're
covers...
seeing here? These are all different issues?
No, this is just because it's all this shit is happening all over the place. They gotta fill you in.
No, but I mean, like, this book here is made up of many different individual
This
issues.
is made up
totally
of
different titles.
Invasion, issue 1, 2, and 3. That's literally all this in
This
here.
is just 3 issues?
This is 3
Those
issues.
are big issues.
I told you,
Like,
80
so many
page
pages.
giants, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very confused. You just said it was in all the different...
Yeah, well, Invasion took place within the whole DC catalog.
So there were tie-ins.
And they published 3 Invasion books.
In addition to...
Yeah.
Oh.
And yeah, so
so
the-
we don't even have the tie-ins
No, we
here.
don't. They don't matter. Some of them do, like some of them fill in some gaps, but for the most part, if you want to see how because look, the Dominators kill like a bunch of Green Lanterns. You want to see that shit? Go read Green Lantern
Okay.
when they're on their way.
Gotcha. So that explains why we barely see any superheroes. Like you've been flipping through, and I've hardly seen any superheroes.
Oh, yeah, well,
'Cause all their stuff was happening in tie-ins.
Well, because
this is the story of the invasion.
the invasion, and the superheroes do repel the invasion, but they have to get organized
Right.
first.
So
That's
at
where
the
Captain
beginning-
Atom comes in. And Captain Atom, who is a literal captain in the army, is like, okay, guys, I'm in charge. And the superhero's like, sure.
Aren't there people higher than you?
Yeah, but they don't have, like,
They don't have
atomic
military
powers.
experience.
Superman is basically the designated, like, communications expert. Like, he winds up dealing with the Dominators. Like,
Okay.
at one point or another, the Dominators call a ceasefire because they're flirting with the idea of giving up the metahumans. And then the metahumans are like, psych! And then attack them anyway!
It makes sense that Superman is this intermediary because he's nigh indestructible.
And he's an alien.
Yeah.
That too.
You could level with them.
But, like,
and
he's
speak to
barely
them
an
like they
alien.
equals.
Yes.
Or something.
But, it's interesting to see, like, all the different facets of the DC Universe kind of, like, come together to battle with this issue. Even Batman, it's funny.
Is that him there?
There it is.
Jesus.
Yeah. But Batman, at some point he gets a call, like, you should meet us in New York, we're doing a thing. And he's like, I don't have powers, I'm not going to be able to help you. And they're like, fair enough! And they just hang up on him.
So he just doesn't involve his master strategist brain
No,
in any way?
at all.
Was this
Wow.
before Batman the Master Strategist was like a thing?
Yeah.
Or maybe this is his strategy. Hey, with
not
all
doing
those
shit.
assholes out of the way, I'll be the big man on campus.
Yeah, he does wind up getting involved. Like, the
Okay.
Coons are smuggling weapons through Gotham from Cuba. They took over Cuba. And
That
Batman's
is a
like,
weird, really weird, bizarre.
it's a half issue in a Detective Comics book. Like, it's not worth it.
So some of the invaders, like some of the Earth governments, collaborate with the invaders.
No, the invaders just take over areas and then use. Well, they wind up
the
like
infrastructure of the country, like their mail system.
Yeah.
To send.
Well, no, they
use
use agents, like people wind up getting more or less either coerced or paid off.
Okay.
By coons.
Paid off with not
Why
dying.
do the coons need to smuggle? Didn't they bring all their weapons with them?
Yeah, but they're trying to. Literally, the issue is half an issue.
It just
it doesn't matter.
It really
doesn't
sucks.
make sense.
How else do we get Batman involved?
Yeah, and they don't.
All right.
So it's just.
I mean, that makes sense. Batman shouldn't be involved. He has nothing to
add.
He should be.
His master strategy should be involved. He should be like, okay, I've played Risk 1,000 times. Here's what we do. Nope, not at all.
Damn, they already have Australia. We're doomed.
Lex Luthor gets involved. He winds up building because the invaders, they want the metahumans. So they keep trying to kidnap superheroes, and they keep escaping.
Right.
Because
they're metahumans.
Yeah. And Lex Luthor winds up making copies, not genetic copies, not fucking clones, thank God, robotic copies of superheroes, and then the invaders will take them, and they're doing an autopsy on the Flash, and then he explodes. They're all suicide bombs that Lex Luthor made, and the fucking
that's awesome.
God, and the government is
great and terrible,
and the government's like, Luthor, shit. He's like, oh, would you like any more help? And they're like, no.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Respect for Luthor.
That's not a suicide bomb because they're not alive.
Well, yeah, they're not alive.
It's just a bomb.
It's just a trick.
It's just a bomb.
It's just a cool trick.
No, you're right.
To play on the bad guys.
Yeah.
I will say, if all the Dominators just got the metahumans,
yeah,
and then left, the metahumans could just kill them all in space anyway.
Yeah, right?
Yes.
How are you gonna...
But then there wouldn't be a cool invasion of Earth with thousands of people that have died.
Well,
and
how many... Because they built the space lag. How many metahumans end up in the space lag?
Oh, not many.
Okay.
Actually, I think they only get
few?
Blue Devil or something like that. I think he gets stuck
So they
there.
build a whole prison in space.
And only one of them
can
can't escape. Yeah.
That's really funny.
No, they destroy it. They blow it up.
Right.
But it's interesting because when the Daxamites turn coat on the Dominators, the Dominators are like, oh, we've lost. What do I do? And the Coons are like, no, because they're Klingons. They're like, no, we got to fight to the last man. We're gonna, and they're led by this general here.
Okay.
The Dominator's like, okay, I'm gonna surrender, and and they have a button for surrendering.
What does that mean?
It'll send an all call to all their.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yep.
Stop and come back.
Yeah. Either
why do you even have that button if you fight to the last man?
It's right next to the other button that says fight to the last man and kill everybody.
We press that button a lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
and he's thinking about pushing it, and then
I've been pressing that button since this thing started. I'm thinking of pressing the other button.
and then he's about to do it, and then the other guy, the General Kund, is like, "No, you can't do that." He destroys the console, and that's when the greatest moment in this book happens, because there's this character named Dead Man. Dead Man, Boston Brand, is this dead guy who's like a superhero, but nobody can see him because he's a ghost. And when he interacts with people, he gets in your body, takes over.
Okay.
So the general is like, okay, that's it. This is over. And he blows up a console. And then he takes his own gun and he goes, and then he just blows his own brains out. And Dead Man's like, whoo! Flies out of the general's body. And he's like, ha ha, gotcha. And then just leaves. And that's all
maybe I should have hit the button before I shot his brain out.
Yeah. Well, he just showed up.
So Dead Man wasn't soon enough to prevent this general from
blowing up the console.
preventing the retreat.
Yeah.
But he can keep him from making any future
Plus,
mistakes.
it doesn't matter because the main strategist for the Dominators is dead, and the Dominators are all like, no! So they all they lose.
They won't fight without their leader.
Yeah. No, thankfully
Wait
they're
a
not
minute,
like that.
we've got a whole book left.
Oh yeah, because one lone Dominator used the genetic information to create a metahuman bomb that he sets off over the atmosphere of Earth. And what it does is it winds up rendering superpowers inert and slips metahumans into a coma. It was like a last-ditch effort. if we can't have them, then nobody can kind of thing.
Okay.
Where it's
Okay, but does that also affect aliens like Superman?
Yeah, but
Then
like
why doesn't it affect them?
because they're not in the Earth's atmosphere. They launched it from space.
Ah, damn.
But it doesn't affect Superman. It just affects everybody else. Like because Superman was, it's like the Terrigen mists kind of fucking over the Earth, where it's like a cloud.
Right.
So it's just people are slipping under and falling under its wake.
Does it affect Martian Manhunter?
I don't think it actually winds up getting to Martian Manhunter yet. But
so maybe it doesn't affect aliens. They just
yeah, it could be that it doesn't affect aliens. But like as I understand, it just affects humans that have superpowers. So it probably doesn't affect Superman and Martian Manhunter.
Okay.
But we never really get enough of that.
Right, there's never a moment where they're like, "Oh, here it comes! Oh, it didn't affect me. I guess I'm immune." Like that doesn't happen.
Yeah, no.
They just gloss over it.
It affects like
by not showing it.
It affects like superheroes like Major Force, who's like Captain Atom, only a jerk. And what's hilarious is that's where Batman's other cameo shows up. He's like, "Hey, I found Major Force," and he drops him off in like the hospital. And they're like, "Thanks, Batman," and then he leaves.
Oh, it wouldn't affect Batman either because he's not
No
a human.
powers.
Yeah.
Yep. So
It shouldn't affect any of the Green Lanterns.
Yeah, actually, they don't have
Well-
kinetic component. They have rings.
they have rings. It shouldn't affect them at all, and it doesn't.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah. And then so like the Lanterns, like a couple of Lanterns like Guy Gardner and Hal and Superman like fight the remaining vestiges of the Dominators.
Okay.
And synthesize a cure and then administer it. And then they're fine too.
I'm amazed Superman doesn't breathe a giant breath and blow all the crap out of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
suck it
his
all
lungs
in.
can only hold so much.
Right,
It's just
right.
they're the same size lungs as like a person. It's how Superman can like breathe the poison of a room in, you know, but not
of like an
all of
entire
the
atmosphere.
Earth.
Well, he shouldn't even be able to do that.
Yeah, he still
Yeah.
has lungs that are smaller than a room.
Yes, but Superman only breathed in the poisoned amount of air.
Right, which was only a fraction of the total air.
You
Yeah.
see, his mouth is so amazingly super that he can separate the particles
right.
of poison in the air from the air itself. So
Right.
it's
what
He
he-
wasn't actually even breathing in air. He was only breathing
Breathing
in
poison.
the part. He was filtering as he breathed in,
You know what it is? Yeah, his lungs.
letting the clean air
like,
pass through some way.
Well, like you know how
he's going to rip a giant fart in
He
space.
does
which is
breathe in
poisonous.
all of our air. It's just that, like our lungs convert oxygen into carbon dioxide, he breathed in all the poison and converted it
so he
into
just
air.
kept breathing until he breathed through all the poison.
That's
and-
what he did. Yeah,
Yeah,
but he did it
sure.
so fast that we all thought it
That
was
we
one
perceived
breath.
it as
Ah, well,
Yeah,
that's impressive.
yeah.
I was gonna say he's got like.
How come he didn't do that then with the entire world?
Because we needed to know, because we needed to involve other characters.
Yeah, we can't just have Superman fix every problem. That's fucking boring.
Yeah, but it did threaten and did wind up killing like a couple of characters that nobody cared about.
So wait, the
Oh,
Legion of
ooh.
Superheroes still sees the Dominators as a threat, even though they are pretty much pussies this entire book?
No, I mean the Dominators, like they rallied warring nations together and brought them to Earth to fight like the crown jewel of the galaxy,
Yeah,
full of
they're-
monsters and superheroes. And,
Yeah, but they themselves are not that powerful.
No, they're not.
No, they're.
You take them
But they
out,
do
the
have-
comes from
whole
their
thing falls
ability to
apart.
convince other people to
Yeah,
join their
and they do
cause.
have superior tech. They have great technology.
Their spaceships and
What's
stuff.
funny is they address one of your problems. The Coons do anyway, where they're like they're dealing with somebody and they get teleported out, and he goes, "They have teleporters? You said that their technology was rudimentary. Like they have access to teleporters? Well, that's not on the dossier for Earthlings. Like, oh well, no, the superheroes have access to special technology. And they're like,
They don't-
why? And they're like, I don't know. And you're like, hey, Ethan will say that 25 years from then.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So
I don't understand. Why do the humans not
share in the wealth.
Well,
of
yeah,
this
like
great
why
technology.
do they keep this technology to themselves? Well, actually, there is one human named Lex Luthor who makes that very argument all the time.
Yeah.
and for some reason, no one
will
listens
listen to
him.
Oh, incidentally, he's also the guy who keeps shipping us bombs in the shape of his greatest enemies.
Damn, that guy's really smart.
Yeah, we should just
Take
enlist
him.
him. But what's interesting is that
We'll make you a god, Lex. Done!
yeah, but everyone is united. The whole point of the book
Right,
is that
right.
everyone, super villain, superhero, good guy, bad guy, alien or not,
Cats, dogs, whatever.
they all are united under one banner of Earth to battle against their
Wait,
would-be
so what
captors.
happens with Aquaman? You said Atlantis got taken
Yeah,
out.
it gets
Yeah,
attacked,
he
and
fought.
he
He fought a lot.
defends it. And
Does anyone help, or does he just do it himself?
You mostly just see him do it.
Yeah.
But like, he's part of the squad. Like, he's part of like the huge coalition of superheroes that
Okay.
battles against the invaders.
Oh, okay, so he's in that.
My guess is that he had help, but the image that you see of Aquaman defending against the assault on Atlantis is just basically him being cool.
Okay. So if this book was written now...
Yes. I almost feel like it would have done the same thing. Not the same story,
Right.
but like 3 main story. That's how modern crossovers work. 3 main, like the main,
but, like,
the main book, and then all the other supplemental stories are told in the books that are coming out, and we're forcing those writers and artists to just tell our story right now.
But the tone would have been totally different. Like,
yes.
the UN would not have banded together and spoken with one voice.
Some of them would have like teamed up with the invaders.
Yeah, they would have like sold out the metahumans like immediately, and the metahumans would have split into factions themselves.
Yeah,
it would just be a huge, depressing, god awful.
Oh, and there'd be a coalition from the Daxamites to like enlist humanoid-looking aliens that live on Earth. The Daxamites would probably try to like enlist the Themyscirians.
Yeah,
and like interbreed with them.
Yeah, like look what they did. Like they've marginalized you, and they like
you're relegated to one island by yourself. Like also like. We're supermen, you're superwomen.
I'm pretty certain the Themyscirians would probably be like, we don't give a fuck.
And we'll stab you.
So get out.
Yeah, no. But
maybe they
but it could have been interesting.
Maybe they team up with Swamp Thing.
That would be cool.
And like
Swamp Thing's like, get all of them off my planet.
Yeah.
Get all the people off
poisoning your planet. We're trying to
Yeah.
And you're gonna leave afterwards, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, what's funny is like,
I don't like how you said that.
Did I mention that, like, Darkseid was involved?
No. In this book?
Yeah.
What does he do?
He's like, hey, you can't invade Earth. I want that for the anti-life equation. They're like, we're not going to break it. And he's like, oh, okay, cool.
Wait, you can, when we're finished, you can have the remains.
You could have what the anti-life equation is buried in.
Oh, thank you, wonderful Dominators.
Yeah, like Darkseid would ever put it. More like Darkseid would be like, I'll just wait. Yeah. And if they fuck up, I'll just shoot them with my Omega beams.
He probably is like, it's not going to work anyway. The Earthlings are going to defeat them
sitting
easily.
back eating
I can imagine he's sitting on his throne, and the Dominator's like, no, we're gonna take over Earth. Oh, Earth! You with Superman? No, we're gonna attack. We're gonna wage war against all the metahumans. Oh, so like the Justice League.
Oh, all of them.
Oh, all of them together. Yeah, okay. By yourselves? Oh no, we're gonna get the Coons. Oh, the Coons are getting involved. Yeah. Oh, but also the Thanagarians. The bird people. Oh, you're gonna get the bird people involved. Wow. Well, this sounds like a mighty invasion. Would you like to help bring the hordes of apocalypse? I want to see. I believe in the might of the Dominion. I think you'll be fine.
This is almost Flash Gordon with all these different races.
Oh yeah, but it's DC. Like they all exist, and they all have roles to play.
It's amazing. So it's like, we haven't used these characters. Let's just
That's
throw
exactly
them all
right.
together.
Put them all together
story.
and just throw them at this dumb story.
And collectively,
you'll be confused, but who cares?
Yeah.
You put them all together, they almost constitute a threat worthy of our superheroes.
Yep. Yeah, except you've waged war. It's not like they waged war on like the green superheroes. Like they waged war on all of them.
Yeah. Yep.
So the question is, what are they going to keep and what are they going to chuck that they're going to put into the CW show? Like, my guess is going to be one alien race. Like the Dominators are going to be one alien that's going to invade. It's not going to be a coalition of aliens.
Yeah.
They're not going to get that involved.
Well, here's the question: have they introduced any aliens already in CW that could be involved?
Invasion. It's so sweet. Like, it wants to be, like, a heartwarming, like, rallying cry for everybody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the image on the back has superheroes carrying the UN flag.
Yeah.
That's so, like, quaint.
It is.
Like, that would never, like, today, if they wrote a book like this today, like, young people would be like, what? The UN?
Yeah.
What?
They wouldn't even know what they're talking about.
Also, that's kind of a really bad image to use for that.
This?
That's as if we were being defeated. They're like, no, we have to hoist the flag.
That's the moment from D-Day, I think, right?
No, from
Iwo Jima?
Iwo Jima, yeah, when they were pushing up the American flag.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was a triumphant moment where they captured that hill.
Yeah, but it took a long time to capture that hill.
It was a very difficult battle.
Just like this?
Just like this.
Was it?
They invaded Australia. They took over...
They slaughtered the citizens of Melbourne.
Yeah. The tone of the book doesn't really seem to, like, back that up. Like, it seems... Although I haven't read it.
Oh my god, turn back to that image of Superman that you just had.
This one? Where he's
like,
where's
what the hell?
Yeah, because the Daxamites, like, socked him in the face.
Oh, right, because they're
I've never felt that before.
What's cool is Superman.
I feel alive! Hit me again!
I've never seen a Superman like this before, where the Daxamites show up and they're like, Superman, stand down, you can't get involved in this whole thing. And Superman's like, you have entered an active war zone. if you choose to obstruct me from my duties, that will be considered an act of war, and I will deal with you. Wow. And I'm like, cool. Superman's like, not Superman being like, no, war is bad, and I'm trying to keep it all together. Like, no, he's like, I'm fighting for my planet. If you have a problem with that, we can step outside. And indeed they do.
Granted, I will knock you unconscious, I won't kill you, but I'll still take care of you.
Well, no, he actually, and then they wind up like being poisoned, and he's like, oh no, and then he takes them all into space, and they're like, oh, thank God for you, and he's like, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
now you're
because I want to defeat you for real, and then he starts punching them all.
Yeah, then
It's not fair unless you have a fighting chance.
Or the old New 52 Superman.
Yeah.
Just want to kill him.
No, it's just like, oh, our atmosphere poisons you? I guess you better fuck off.
Yeah, I guess you better leave. If I were a Daxamite, I had Superman powers, and they told me to leave, I would just strategically place all of our citizens around the Earth and just blast people with our laser vision.
Yeah, right?
I mean...
Yeah, don't go down there.
Yeah, there's plenty I can do from here. I have super breath, I can destabilize the weather.
Yeah.
I got lots of powers.
Yeah.
Not only that, but...
I can fly so fast. So many of us, we can reverse the rotation of the Earth. We might not go back in time, but we'll fuck something up.
If nothing else, we'll just spin your Earth faster, and then everyone will just fly off of it.
That was Invasion from DC Comics in 1989. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Back Issues, and thank you, DC, for sending us this copy. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to get a copy of your own, check the description box below this video and pick up a copy. I've got a link right there. I would do a card, but Amazon is one of the only retailers you can't have a card for in Google, YouTube. So,
Clearly, you also hadn't heard of this book, so you should get it and read it.
It's true. Go check it out. It's fun. It's fun. It's like Ethan said, it's quaint.
There is a lot going on in this book. There is a whole lot of action.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of like a giant war story.
Well, it is.
Kind of like Watchmen, where there's like different things happening all over.
Yeah.
I say Watchmen just because it spans a lot. I'm not really...
That's going on the reprint.
I'm not equating it to how good it is.
Reminds me of Watchmen, ComicPop. New reprinting of this book.
Oh
you can use that quote if you like. I don't mind.
What does that just remind you? Oh, that's kind of big.
Yes, it's got a lot of stuff going on. It's so dense. Every frame has so much going on.
It's printed.
It's from DC. DC did the same thing. Anyway, so long.